Let's jump right into today's explainer. We're tackling Europe's geography, untangling those notoriously confusing regional classifications, and looking at some brilliant memory tricks from our source material to help make it all stick. If you're gearing up for a major entrance exam, or honestly just want to finally make sense of the European map, you are in exactly the right place. Let's figure this out together. Here is our game plan. We'll start with geographic boundaries, hit some quick facts and superlatives, demystify the British Isles, dive into key regions and mnemonics, and wrap up with the breakup of the USSR.
Starting things off with Section 1, Geographic Boundaries.
Okay, so setting the scene. It's absolutely fascinating how the Ural Mountains literally slice the massive landmass of Russia right in two. They act like this unique continental bridge. Over on the west, you've got the Atlantic Ocean. Down south, the Mediterranean Sea acts as this huge physical barrier separating Europe from Africa. And then to the east and southeast, well, Europe just kind of blends straight into Asia.
And that blending brings us to Eurasia. Europe and Asia are so seamlessly connected, and Russia actually spans across both. Even though a massive chunk of Russia is physically sitting in Asia, east of the Urals, it's strictly considered a European nation. Why? Because its capital, Moscow, sits firmly on the European side. Basically, the seat of power dictates the continental identity.
Moving right along to Section 2, Quick Facts and Superlatives.
To set our baseline, there are exactly 48 independent nations on the European continent. It is a really crowded space. The absolute newest addition to that list is Kosovo, which declared independence from Serbia back in 2008. Definitely keep that date in mind. Exam reviewers absolutely love to test that one.
And within those 48 nations, we get some wild extremes. On one hand, you have the sprawling giant of Russia, easily the largest country in Europe by landmass. And on the complete opposite end, the tiny independent enclave of Vatican City, claiming the title of the absolute smallest.
Sticking with those extremes for a second, the longest river is the Volga over in Russia. The highest peak, Mount Elbrus. When it comes to mountain ranges, the longest is the massive Alps, and the largest island goes to Great Britain. Lock these superlatives into your memory, they're super high yield.
Beyond just physical geography, a lot of these countries have picked up some really fascinating nicknames over time. Let's rattle through a few. Vienna, Austria is the gateway to Europe. Ukraine is famously the breadbasket. Fun fact, Austria actually introduced the world's very first postal code, and Hammerfest in Norway takes the crown for the northernmost city. But honestly, my personal favorite has to be Belgium being called the cockpit of Europe, simply because of the sheer number of historic battles, or cockfights, fought right on its soil.
All right, Section 3, the British Isles Explained.
This is essentially a geography math equation. Think of it like this. Start with Britain, which is just England and Scotland. Add Wales to the mix and boom, you get Great Britain. Then add Northern Ireland to Great Britain and you've officially formed the complete United Kingdom. 4 countries, 1 UK. Simple, right?
Now, if we zoom out a bit to the broader geographical term, we get the British Isles. Now, a crucial point here. The Republic of Ireland is a completely independent nation that split off in 1921. It is absolutely not part of the UK. But geographically speaking, both the UK and the Republic of Ireland, along with about 6,000 surrounding smaller islands, all sit inside this massive archipelago called the British Isles.
On to Section 4, Key Regions and Mnemonics. This is where it gets really fun.
Let's look at Scandinavia. We're talking about 5 distinct nations here. Finland, Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, and Norway. Famous for their fishing industries, stunning coastlines. But how on earth do you remember all 5 quickly under exam pressure?
We'll toss out the standard English acronyms that just leave you guessing anyway. The source material gives us this brilliant phonetic phrase in a local Bengali dialect. Fi, Ison, which roughly translates to come back. Every syllable is a lock. Fi is Finland. Re sounds like the D in Denmark. I gets you Iceland. So is Sweden, and Ni is Norway. It completely stops you from accidentally swapping Iceland with Ireland during a test.
Now, here is a massive trap that so many people fall into. The Baltic states and the Baltic region are not the same thing. The Baltic states are strictly 3 specific countries right on the eastern shore. The Baltic region, however, is way broader. It includes every single nation that physically touches the Baltic Sea, places like Germany, Sweden, and Poland. Do not mix those up.
So how do we memorize those 3 specific Baltic states? Try this visual trick. In Bengali, a bucket is called a balti. So just picture a bucket, a balti, and imagine tossing the word all right inside it.
The A stands for Estonia, since phonetically it sounds like it starts with an A. The first L is Lithuania, and the second L is Latvia. Put all in the Balti. It's super effective.
Next up, the Balkan region. We've got a really dense area here. 12 distinct countries packed around the Balkan Mountains in the southeast. A quick pro tip from the source. Notice how countries here like Slovenia end in Nia and not Kia. Remembering that detail alone will save you points. But for memorizing all 12, yeah, we need a bigger trick. Get a load of this master sentence in Bengali. Hungary o Kosovo, Kror protit Gidishermonta Sorvada MBBS Rumar Jono Akol. It literally weaves all 12 Balkan nations together into this crazy, memorable storyline about a millionaire and a medical student. Kror protit sounds like Croatia. Gidisher gets you Greece, Monta is Montenegro, Sorvada triggers Serbia, MBBS covers Macedonia, Bulgaria, Bosnia, and Slovenia, and Ruma wraps it up with Romania. It is an absolute lifesaver for chunking a massive list like that.
And finally, Section 5, Breakup of the USSR.
Just tracking this chronologically, it all kicks off with the Socialist Russian Revolution in 1917. By 1922, the USSR is officially formed, rising up as this massive global superpower. Fast forward to the end of the Cold War in 1991, and the entire Union just dissolves, shattering into 15 completely independent nations.
And exams absolutely love to test your knowledge of those 15 former Soviet nations. Notice how neatly they group geographically. You've got the Baltics, Central Asia, the Eastern Core, and the Black Sea borders. But 15 names is a lot to juggle at once.
So chunk them. We can break those 15 countries down into 4 simple acronyms. ALL, CUDA, RAB, and GUM. The phrase, all Kudake Rab Gumkor, roughly translates to, Rab made all the dogs disappear. ALL gets you the Baltics. CUDA, along with a K, covers the 6 Central Asian stands, plus Azerbaijan. RAB knocks out Russia, Armenia, and Belarus. And GUM covers Georgia, Ukraine, and Moldova. Boom! You can instantly recall the entire Soviet breakup.
Getting a handle on these regions and mnemonics is going to give you a massive edge on any exam. But, taking a step back from all the memorization, it really makes you wonder. Given this deep, nonstop history of evolving borders, dissolving unions, and shifting alliances that we've just mapped out, what will the map of Europe look like 50 years from now? Which region do you think will see the next major geopolitical redraw? Thanks for hanging out for this explainer, and happy studying!